Hello YouTube, Jake here, and welcome to Reading Too Much Into Things. This is going to be a series of videos where I share with you the random thoughts, ideas, or questions that come to me during those dark, silent, lonely hours of my life. Speaking of dark, that's going to be a major theme in this first video. Let's talk about Dark Souls. Now, for those of you who are sick to death of Dark Souls or just playing it now and don't want Dark Souls 2 or the DLC of the two titles spoiled, just leave your comments down below and go about your day. Don't worry, we'll wait. So then, Dark Souls. As any fan of the Souls series of games can tell you, or Bloodborne, can't forget about Bloodborne, and any fan can tell you about their approach to storytelling. Not only intentionally leaving information out of the known lore or having characters actively lie about it, but also have there be a connection between the story and lore and the actual gameplay. They try to have everything that happens in the game tie back to the story, be it enemy placements, item drops and locations, summonings and invasions, the works. And it's because of that attention to gameplay, to lore detail, that I finally come to the question that's been keeping me up for several nights, though not in a row. What is the Dark Soul? So as we learn from the opening cinematic and from the game itself, when fire was first born, 4 great souls were pulled out of the fire by 4 individuals who were later called lords. Nito, the first dead, gets the death soul. Kind of self-explanatory there. Witch of Izalith gets the life soul. Gwyn, Santa Claus, Jesus, Zeus gets the light soul, not to be confused with the life soul. Gotta pronounce those consonants. And the dark soul was in the hands of the furtive pygmy who, we learn later, became Manus, the father of Abyss, who we fight in the DLC, awarding us with, ta-da! The Dark Soul. And its purpose in the game is to be the opposite of the Light Soul. That's it. When one, just like the Death Soul is the opposite of the Life Soul, the Dark Soul is just the opposite of the Light Soul. When one gains power, the other is weakened. When one weakens, the other gains power. And so we're to ask, what are light and dark souls? After all, they aren't just normal good and evil, or order and chaos. We've seen chaotic people be light focused and people with a dark focus actually be good. There have been tons of well-written, debated, and thought-out discussions over the years about what they could mean philosophically and the difference between the Age of Light versus the Age of Dark. All that said, I'll be the asshole who focuses on what it literally is. And what it is literally leads me back to FromSoft tying gameplay mechanics to actual game lore. What do we know about the lore concerning the Great Souls? That they came from the First Flame. That when it started to die down, the 2 attempts to power or replace the flame didn't go well. The witch tried to turn her own life soul into a new first flame that more souls could be born from, resulting in flame of chaos, bed of chaos, bunch of demons who ended up causing chaos, just general chaos all around. And Gwyn offered his soul, his light soul, to relight the first flame, resulting not in a renewed Age of Light, but just a prolonging of the flame's life, hauling in him to a withered husk. How do I know it doesn't renew the Age of Light? Because the sun's already gone! Yeah! Sun during Dark Souls! An illusion by Gwyn's youngest kid! Topped off with the literal sun being literally back in Dark Souls 2. Sorry, I just used Dark Souls 2 to prove a point in Dark Souls 1. So we have to ask ourselves, why did Gwyn's soul not work? But an undead, a human, offering themselves to the flame, does relight the flame. To get closer to the answer, we have to look at why other attempts fail, and this question is actually one of the easier ones once we take the gameplay into account. It's because they tried to use the wrong thing to power the flame. Stay with me now. What's one of the first things we learn we can do once we reach a bonfire? The use of souls to level up our stats. White souls. And that right there is where the problem arises. Think about it. They tried to use their souls, which we know are used to make a person stronger or a weapon stronger. I can hear you asking, well, what else would they use? That's all they had. And thank you for bringing me back to my point. The point is that yes, that is all they had. Because the lords and gods and the divine and the first race that is somehow above humans did not have what we know does make bonfires stronger. What's the one object used in-game to make a flame, a bonfire, stronger? Increase how much of its essence you can carry, and even restore you from a hollowed form. Humanity. Yes, I know it doesn't say it makes the flame stronger literally, but when you offer humanity to kindle to increase how much estus you can carry in your flask, the flame gets larger. If that doesn't mean the flame is getting stronger, then no, that's literally making the flame stronger. And the lack of the lords having humanity explains why their attempts fail. And we're told they don't have humanity. Humanity didn't start until Manus tore up his Dark Soul. And that's where the Dark Soul comes in. Manus, the furtive pygmy, took his weak Dark Soul, because the Age of Light was starting, and tore pieces off of it and spread it among the lower humans in the form of humanity, to spread the influence of the dark during the Age of Light. So okay, we know souls don't power the mystical flame in this world. Mystical. And we know humanity does. We know that humans, not lords, have humanity. And we know that a human can be used to rekindle the first flame. And so we come to what I believe the Dark Souls' literal role in Dark Souls is. I believe it was the literal fuel that kept the first flame burning in the beginning. That the furtive pygmy, removing the Dark Soul from the first flame, ensured that the flame and the Age of Light to dwindle and die out, turning Manus into a kind of reverse or inverted Prometheus, taking the dark, warm core of the first flame to ensure and spread darkness to humans against the want of the lords. That also adds in to why not only is a human, but according to the Darkseeker, a direct descendant of the Dark Lord who has to give himself to the flame, because it is returning a part of the Dark Soul, the flame's original essence, had to offer themselves. Heck, even if I don't want to consider Dark Souls 2 as canon, it fits why there is now an endless cycle, because it's only a fragment of the Dark Soul. A fragment of an eternal force can only be finite. And if Dark Souls 2 wasn't a mess, this could be made part of why you need to go to the other kingdoms in the DLC and face the other queens, who are shards of Manus, to bring together the power of the Dark Soul, twisted by the direct influence of the Dark Soul, and so, one would assume, the Dark Soul itself, and burn it again to truly give birth back to the first flame, to the eternal power of change. Because what is Dark Souls 2 about? It's about how no matter how much things change, they're the same. At least that's what I get. Thank you for joining me for the first Reading Too Much Into Things video, and I'll gnaw your ears off next time. Have a good day. If you have any questions, be sure to email or Twitter your questions to the links below. Have a good day, and as always, stay safe.